So who do we have next now, Romain?
So we would like to talk a little bit about CanMar recruitment and what we do and why we do it as well. And who better than a recruiter himself, a business development, client success partner, and the very CEO of the company to talk about the company. I know we've had some a lot of questions from the attendees on how to get in touch with the companies and how really to find a job in this industry. And
come on,
this is why we're here. And Anita, thank you also for being here on that panel. That's great. For this discussion, we will also have Elisha and Michaela joining us, because these people are fundamental in what we do as well. Katie, over to you if you'd like to share a little bit about why CanMar and why, so many questions will come our way.
Thank you, Romain. Well, first of all, thank you, Elisha, Michaela, and Romain for putting this together. Guys, you've done a fantastic job. I'm sure we wouldn't have been able to achieve anything at all. The countless hours and days, the hard work that you've put into creating this event has just been phenomenal. So kudos to all of you guys for putting this together. As far as CanMar is concerned, we're a recruitment company. We specialize in recruitment for the cannabis industry, and we incorporated in 2017, really started hiring by 2018 when one of our clients got their first license to produce. And that's how we started off. And we saw a great opportunity because if you really think about it, it was the IT sector which had that boom happening about 25 years ago, where there was a new industry that was being created, which in fact created millions and millions of jobs before the .com part happened. And then after that, I personally have been recruiting for the past 15 years. This is the third country where we've started recruiting, and never seen an industry come in like this. So like I said before, was tech sector and now is cannabis. So I really want to encourage each one of you who's listening to this, that this is an industry that's very close-knit and people are humble. And of course, diversity and inclusion is a big topic, and we'll all get there. But the industry is just starting off. Give it some time, be patient, and you will see hundreds and thousands of jobs coming in. We have to, of course, we can't deny the fact that we've just been hit with the pandemic, but give it some time. As companies open up and they become more open to remote work, there'll be more opportunities coming to people. I remember looking at one of the chats where somebody asked, hey, do you hire people remotely out of New Zealand? If there was talent in New Zealand one day, absolutely. Technology makes it great. Why CanMar? Because we specialize in it. We specialize in the industry. We know the language. We can help you maneuver into the industry and get that right opportunity for yourself. And to touch on pandemic again, if you look at the restaurant or in particular the travel and tourism hospitality industry, they've got such amazing transferable skills, which is customer service. And the tourism and travel industry is all about customer service. I'm not saying that others are not, but this industry, you could easily transition into being a bartender one day, or being a store manager or a key holder. And there are so many other positions. So CanMar can definitely help you. I'm not saying that we are able to reach out to everybody at all point, every time. But I can promise you we will touch as many lives as possible. We have started recruiting in the US for many companies. In fact, we also have one of our clients based out of the UK, and we know Europe is a big, huge market for this. Australia is coming up really well, and we plan to help all these amazing companies recruit, because this is what we do. This is what we are great at, is knowing what you bring to the table, what the employer is looking for, and really making that match, and really assisting you during that hiring process, the entire recruitment end-to-end process. So We have our mission statement for those of you who may have missed it. We put in our heart into this. We recruit people, we find them their dream jobs, and we want to change lives. And we truly mean it from our heart. The reason I say that is because it's the most priceless feeling when somebody gets that best job and they're happy at that job. It just makes it so amazing for everybody. And that's what we work for, is to make sure that you get your dream jobs. I know there are a lot of recruitment companies out there, but not so many in the cannabis industry in particular. I hope I answered your question, Romain.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and that's excellent. And we have actually Craig, who was our attendee in New Zealand. That was that's very active in the chat right now. So wants a job in Queensland, he'll just go across the ditch, you know. So yeah, absolutely, expansion. This is very very important. Question from Darcy: is there any indication that we will see localities approve business for public consumptions, like in cafes and clubs? I know that BC has this pretty much already, isn't it?
You know, there are not too many places that are open to the idea, but we have to acknowledge the fact that it's a new industry. You know, legalization just happened about 2.5 years ago. It takes time, and this is a big change. It's a paradigm shift. We're still trying to get rid of the stigma around the industry, and that is the big part where you know, so many people like Ms. D and you know, the people that we had on our D&I panel who have really fought the way to making cannabis legal. And it's slow and steady. Change comes slowly, but it does come. That's all I can say. That people would be more receptive, businesses would be more receptive, the government would be more receptive when the right time comes. And we know our government here tends to over-regulate sometimes, but it's a new industry. Give it a chance, and things should happen soon. We are looking at newer generations coming in and taking over the workforce. So a lot of changes to come, absolutely.
Excellent, excellent. There's a few questions coming up on the chat. Resume. So yeah, exactly. So about our process, I see question from attendees asking about what happens with the resume that you sent a couple of weeks ago when you registered to this event. Well, it's very simple. We have a team of recruiters that are you know, pretty much all across the country. I'm myself is in Toronto, working with a couple recruiters here as well. Katie, Alicia, Michaela, everyone is in Vancouver. We have a bunch of recruiters as well that are specialized in the area, you know, that you're looking for. So when we see on your resume that you have an experience in manufacturing, engineering, or sales, or HR, or really pretty much anything, we'll have a recruiter that is passionate about this line of work and that will get in touch with you. I wish we could say we can promise a job to everyone. I wish I could say that. We can't. However, what we can promise is providing the best support to get you that job, definitely. If you'd like to expand on this, or I think I've been pretty...
No, absolutely, it's very well said, Romain. We do want to touch, as I said, we do want to touch as many lives as possible. That is what we are here to do. We are here to assist you in any way, shape, or form. At the same point in time, the very reason that we put this event together is that our viewers who are watching this, you know, can get to know about these so many different employers. Feel free to reach out. We will always do our best, but at the same point in time, I also mentioned this morning about networking, and you really have to sell yourself out to the employer and let them know why you are amazing at, you know, at whatever you have, the talents that you have. Talk about it, network with them. That would definitely open more doors for you. Well, we will, whoever is in our clientele, we are more than happy when you have a relevant resume that the client is looking for. Because when the clients give us jobs, I'd like to rather emphasize on this, how recruitment companies work. So we have our clients who are these employers, amazing employers. When they're looking to hire somebody, they give us a very particular skill set that they are looking for. And they would only like to see the top 3 or 5 resumes. And we try our best to get in touch with as many people as possible. Some of the practical things to keep in mind are, if you're from a different country and the employer is, let's say, hypothetically speaking, in BC, they would rather want to have a person from BC versus moving another person from a different part of the world. So that makes it a bit challenging, but that is the most honest way of letting you know. These are the some of the challenges that we as a recruitment company face when companies are not that open, but they want to give an opportunity first to who the locals are. And of course, you know, there are rules and regulations around moving people from one place to another.
If I can just chime in, I just seen some.
Do we have any more questions? I'm sure Michaela is, Michaela, why don't you share a little about your experience? You just recently moved as well. How are you liking the cannabis industry? And
yeah, that's what I wanted to get just a second, because I've seen something come through the Q&A box there saying I need to discuss my resume in terms of transferable skills to match with the cannabis industry. So I definitely think this is a conversation worth having, because I'm doing it right now. So I don't know how many people are watching this right now that aren't actually in the cannabis industry. So I definitely think it's a conversation worth having, because we've touched on some amazing conversations, amazing topics so far today, and we're not even finished yet. But this, I think, is an important one, because I don't know if it's known enough that you don't actually have to have cannabis specific experience in Canada to apply for these jobs, because like I'm living proof at the minute. I'm new to Canada, I'm new to cannabis, and I'm new to CanMar. So I would never have thought, coming from construction in Ireland, that I would have ended up in cannabis in Canada. So yeah, transferable skills is definitely a big topic to talk about, because if you were looking at jobs on CanMar, on Indeed, on wherever you're looking for positions at the minute, and you see, oh, well, like it's cannabis specific, or I recognize that name because it's a cannabis brand, I'm not going to apply for that because it doesn't apply to me, or I don't have that industry experience. It's absolutely not the case. If you're a marketer, if you're in HR, if you're in sales, you have those skills already. You have that specific experience in your field. You're a master at what you do. It doesn't really matter what industry you're bringing those particular set of skills to. You're just broadening your opportunities and your horizons, I suppose. You can move from, construction or, hospitality. If you have HR, or if you have sales, or if you have marketing skills, whatever it may be, you can move to cannabis because your skills are transferable. It's a very open and welcoming industry so far as I've seen. So I definitely think that that needs to be said, because as I said, I don't know how many people are watching right now that aren't part of the cannabis industry, or don't know too much about it, or are just here because they want to know more. So yeah, keep an open mind. Cannabis is a very, very welcome industry. I'm firsthand of that. So as long as you have those skills, you can put them into play in any position that you apply for with a cannabis organization or company, for sure.
Amazing. Very, very, very well said, Michaela. And we can maybe touch a few points with Alicia as well, as she has moved on. She was with McDonald's for more than a decade before she joined CanMar. So Alicia, maybe you can talk a little about your experience.
Yeah, definitely. So as Katie said, I've been in the food industry for about 11 years. I know, I look so young. I'm really not. But one of the things I wanted to touch about Michaela is the fact that not only is she new to CanMar, not only is she new to the industry, but we're curious, how did you get in? And how have you kind of communicated with CanMar? How has your experience been? And what can you share to our audience about using CanMar as a service?
Yeah, it's been a learning curve. Since I've been here, I got to Vancouver, as I said, from Dublin in Ireland, right before everything got pretty bad worldwide because of COVID. So I got in just in time. But yeah, I was here a month. And, you know, I came over with, you know, I prepared to move company and country. So I had my savings with me. I sold my car, you know, I did everything to get over here. So I was kind of set up for a bit. But obviously it wasn't the best time to be looking for work because, you know, everything was shut down. So when I moved, I thought, you know, if I don't get a digital marketing job or a marketing position somewhere, I'll go, you know, backup plan. I'll just work in a pub or a restaurant. I have hospitality experience since I was 14. And then of course everything shut down. So I had no plan B, and I was like, oh, okay. Then I started to panic. So yeah, I was looking at jobs for a really long time. And then a friend of mine, thank God, said, you know, do you want a job to keep you tied over? And it was in the hospitality industry in a food place that was staying open during COVID. So I took that just to tie me over, and I was very grateful. But I'd just given myself a break. I hadn't given up, but I was like, okay, I've applied for all these jobs. You know, I have money coming in now. I'm just going to settle into the apartment, settle into the new city, and just, you know, take my time. So I had applied for the marketing partner job with CanMar. Again, it was one of those, you know that one job that you apply for, the resume that you send in, and you're just not sure. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know anything about cannabis. Ireland doesn't have a cannabis industry at all. It's not that people, you know, don't use it for the same reasons that people use it here, but it's still illegal there. So I applied for the job, and I was like, sure, we'll see what happens. And sure enough, that was it. I started working in the food store, and I kind of just got through it. So when one of my now colleagues, Lias, contacted me, she was so lovely, like, because I hadn't much experience with recruiters anyway. I never used them in Dublin because that's just how my career went. I just never had the need. And then when I got to Vancouver, I reached out to unnamed recruiters, and they weren't much help, and that's absolutely not a dig. It's just, it didn't suit me, and the conversations didn't suit me, and it was kind of like, this is a really bad time to be looking for work, sorry. And that was kind of it. So when I got the call off Lias, she was so lovely about the whole thing, because I had lost hope kind of at that point. I was like, right, I'll work in the food store for a bit, and I'll be grand. But she was like, yeah, like, we're really interested in having conversations with you. So that led me to, you know, another phone call with another new colleague, PK, and then I was talking to KD, and then I was talking to everybody else. So the whole process, I have to say, was very fun, very enjoyable, and yeah, the important questions were asked, but it was a big learning curve for me, because I was like, and it was only when I had these conversations with KD and with my new colleagues, I kind of thought, you know, I do have the skills to do this role. I can do this, no problem, and I know I can. It's just that I'm so comfortable with construction marketing. So now I'm just going to have to go way outside my comfort zone, or anything I know anything about, and just give it a shot. So the skills were there. I knew I could do the role. And then it became very apparent that it didn't matter whether it was in cannabis or not. So the whole process to me it was very fun. It still is very exciting. Obviously, I'm delighted to be here. And now this is my first little project with Romain, Alicia, and the team is this whole day. So I really don't have anything bad to say about my experience with cannabis so far. It's a great day. And even for me, I'm on the same page as a lot of the people that have registered today. I'm learning so much today. The D&I panel discussion at lunchtime I could just listen to it all day. It was just incredible. As well as the companies as well. I'm so familiar with the companies that I know at home, but of course, I don't know a whole lot about these companies. So today has just been an eye-opener for me as well, even though I do now work in the cannabis industry. So success all around, I would say.
Amazing, amazing.
So Romain, shall we hop into this chat? I see some questions coming through that people would love to ask.
Absolutely. I mean, I am trying to, okay, we have an interesting question. What do you guys think on this statement? The World Health Organization removed cannabis from drug substance. How about this?
I'm sure Anita can't wait.
Yeah.
So my background in cannabis comes from the medical side of things. I'm a pharmacist, and it's been a challenge, to say the least, whereas at least in the recreational space, we're a lot more willing and open to speak about it. Medical cannabis has been available to patrons since the early 2000s in Canada, yet unless you were a consumer and knew about it, we pretty much have had her head in the sand. And so I think being able to showcase what this industry is all about, how it's trying to be all inclusive, and how we can marry recreational industry with the medical side of things and pay forward with plant-based medicine. It's an eye-opening experience. It's an opportunity for everyone to come together collectively and unite with our passion for plant-based medicines. And I think, CanMar stands in a unique position where we extrapolate experts from various industries and we come together, we take your hard skill set, your soft skill sets, and we find what works best for a company's culture and what your culture, and align you with the values and a company that can help you move forward in your career. So it's, been interesting, and I'm happy to see that WHO is in the right direction. And as a community, we need to destigmatize what cannabis has been called a legal drug. It's not, it's a plant. And she's very resourceful, and she brings people together, and it can be used for healing, for communicating, and to pay forward as a community for more job creation, sustainability. Okay, do you want to chime in?
No, I'm good. We also have another panel coming up, and we've got our veteran Deepak Anand, who would love to tackle the question from WHO. And this is, I believe, it's just an hour from now. We should be able to have a lot of questions from really people such as Deepak, David Hyde, and many other people who will be joining during that panel time.
Great question from Maximilian in Montreal, if I remember correctly. Do you work with any clients from Europe yet?
Sorry, could you? So yes, we do have one client who is based out of Canada. They've got their head office in Vancouver. They're just starting off in the UK, and that's the first place we will be recruiting for. We in fact made a placement for one of the successful candidates, or a job seeker who we had placed, and is traveling back and forth between Vancouver and London. This was still about last year, but a lot of things post-COVID would change, and companies are going to figure out ways for people to work remotely. And you could be sitting in any part of the world. And hopefully we will all see that these companies, all the companies, in fact, move on with the times, adapt to what is happening. And if there is a second wave, I pray that there's no second wave happening and there's no more pandemic coming after this, but who knows? So companies would have to really create a new box and think out of the box and figure out ways of engaging talent from all over the world, at least from wherever it can be.
Excellent. And I have a question specifically for you, KD, from Pamela. Is recruitment in cannabis struggling?
I'm not sure. Okay, so is recruitment in cannabis struggling? Is the cannabis industry struggling in recruitment? I'm going to try my best to answer in the best way possible. I don't really want to say the cannabis industry is struggling. This is one of the industries which is actually hiring. There are only two industries that I can think of. One being cannabis industry, and if you go to canmarrecruitment.com, you will see many jobs that are being posted. You've hopefully Pamela has seen on the, during the day that how many employers have joined us, and so many people are looking to hire people. So I'd really like to say cannabis industry is most certainly hiring.
Excellent. That's amazing. Let's try to answer a couple more questions before we move on to our next panel. Do you have a timeline when cannabis will be available in major retailer like Walmart or Shoppers Drug Mart? Interesting.
I believe this is a great question. I would highly encourage everybody to keep, the big box retailers, if they're going to be putting cannabis into their stores, keep it for the panel when Deepak Anand and the rest of the team will take over. Those will be amazing resources for you to tap into. And because people such as Deepak, I mean, he's got, he and his companies, many companies that he owns, they've got their expansion in Europe, and they help with licensing. They do a lot of stuff, and they would be absolutely glad to answer many questions such as this.
Absolutely, and we will move on with our next panel. But if you guys want to stay connected for literally right after our next company, we'll have an actual panel to discuss all of this topic literally. So stay tuned.
Thank you, Romain. This was amazing. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Anita. And thank you again. It was a great session.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks for joining in. Definitely, Alicia, Michaela. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to work with you every day. Anita, we're so glad to have you as well for moderating our next our panel after that. Yeah, no, it's a great day and great information. Definitely bouncing back. Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.